Can't you just almost hear the wildlife?
Yes. You know, I just now got a notification for the first time on my phone saying, this thing you follow is almost starting. This is the first time. Yes.
Oh,
What's up, guys?
Yes,
Not
because
much.
they just put it in iOS in this update. Yep.
Nice.
hmm
not
I am
Well,
doing well, Jason. How are you?
everything's moving right
There's one
along.
viewer.
Yeah, how you doing, Colton?
I'm good. I
How is
Hello.
everyone?
tired. Busy day. Got a lot done today though. Felt good about it.
Yeah,
Good.
Good.
I'm glad you got a
I didn't
busy
get much of
day.
anything done. I slept most of the day.
Oh,
Had the day off.
Jason's turning into a vampire again.
Yeah. I don't know if you're out there watching, but look at this thing. Isn't this great? If you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to see the comment line up on the screen, I think. Somebody out there let me know if that's true.
Yes.
it's beautiful.
Indeed. I want to see how it looks on
Yeah,
my phone.
I was gonna do the same
Log
thing.
out.
I was pulling up YouTube to look at it on there.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, you can see it, but it's tiny
It is.
over there in the corner. But still, that's pretty cool. The live chat will be recorded now on the screen.
Yeah.
All right, great. Welcome, guys. Whoever's out in the live chat, please say hello. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're watching. There are a couple of people out there. We're going to get started. Today, we are looking at 1 Samuel chapter 28. It's June 9th, 2025. We're starting on chapter 28 because that's where we've gotten in the reading. These are our wonderful patron friends. Notice the new levels, $5, $10, $18, whatever you can do. If you want to do, you're not under obligation, but feel free. We are doing this as our hourly workout, 5 o'clock Eastern on Mondays, which is what you're doing right now, is our reading section. Hour 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the evening is our Hebrew 101. We are now, I think we are in lesson 23 today. Out of 30. So we're really making progress through Show's grammar. 7 p.m. is normally the third hour. We're not going to be doing it today because there's no second and a half hour. We're canceling this week, and that means that this is going to be extended out for the homework review.
Oh, I need to leave early then. I have something at 6 o'clock, so I will head out at 6.
Yeah, I expected that. You told me.
I did tell you, but I didn't know that this was going to be extended. So
no, not this. The second hour is extended. This is first hour.
Oh.
So we've gone through all of this much, and we are now on 1 Samuel 28. For those who are interested, we are going to be encountering today this Ewok witch from Endor, who's going to call up Saul from the dead.
Yipcha!
Chewy.
This word, likbot, is the infinitive construct. We're going to be covering infinitive constructs today in the Kal. So if you want to jump over there with us after this, you're more than welcome. Likbot means to assemble or to gather. Notice that the PL, this is PL, it has the same meaning. And so it's kind of interesting. This is likabetz, whereas the Kal is likbot. If you look on the right side, you have the past tense, right? That's what we do. Kavatsti, kavatsta, kavatst, kavat, kavtsa. And the PL, which we've also covered, the PL imperfect, kibatsti, kibatsta, kibatst, kibets, kibtsa. The form, if you look at them, does not change with regard to the consonants. So this is the Kal, and this is the PL. If you look in the imperative, okay, the forms do not change. This is Kal, and this is PL. The forms don't change. The only thing that changes is the vocalic structure. And remember, in the PL, the internal letter of the root is doubled with dagesh. This is the giktol. Okay, and look again. The vowels change, but the letters do not. That might be relevant sometimes in your reading because perhaps the Masoretes read it as Kal, and the verb is really PL, or perhaps it's PL and they read it as Kal. So if you're thinking about adjustments that you could make to the vocalizations, that's a major one that is possible most of the time. If a verb exists in the kal and in the pl, it might change the meaning depending on that. But in the participle, mikabetz, mikabetzet, mikabtzim, mikabtzot, the pl has a mem prefix and the kal does not. Kovetz, kovetzet, kovtzim, kovtzot, mikabetz, mikabetzet, mikabtzim, mikabtzot. So you don't really go over all of the forms, but notice that the kal and the pl in this specific verb share the same meanings. At the bottom of each chart here, I've put a few comments. In Israeli Hebrew, IH, kovetz is a file, like on your computer, or like in a sorted file cabinet. Kovetz is a file. And kvutza is a group of anything, kvutza. But in biblical Hebrew, the same word kvutza, this is with a long kubutz instead of shuruk, is an assemblage of metal in an oven. It's only used once in Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 20. You can look it up in Halot, in Halot. And also in the early years of the Israeli settlement, when they were before the establishment of the state, one of the major community arrangements was called the kibbutz. And it's still something that exists, but it's not like a communist group like it used to be. It used to be a communist settlement. Anyway, so the gathering of the exiles of Israel is called kibbutz galuyot. Kibbutz, gathering together, in galuyot. We're going to see now in the very first verse of this chapter that the kal is also used for gathering peoples together, just like the pl. So we can check our comments over there. Wonderful. We've got from Marcelo saying hello. Hope everyone's doing well. And Michael says here, hello, everybody. And that is it. Jonathan responded to both. Welcome, guys. And hopefully Muriel is up there somewhere. I don't know who else is. Who wants to begin? So we'll just go down. Jason, John, Colton. Colton, is that good? Jason, John, Colton.
Sounds good.
Okay. Vayihi bayamim hahem. Okay, very common, right? And it was in those days, or it happened in those days. Vayikbetzu flishtim et machanehem latzava lehilachem b'Yisrael. Okay. We don't need really vayihi when we translate. We can just start with in those days, and this functions almost like a comma. In those days, the Philistines gathered together their camps for the army to make war against Israel. Lehilachem, to make war, to fight against Israel. Vayomer Achish. Okay, I don't know how many people have heard of Achish, but in David's story, he does actually play a pretty central character early on, a central role. So it would be good to go back to the chapters that we skipped and look at who Achish is. Let's see, he's the king of
Gath.
Gath.
Yes,
Yeah. He's the king of Gath. And David.
Yeah, so David's with the Philistines now. He's with the enemy. Supposedly, right? Gath is where Goliath is from.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the city of the Philistines necessarily. Remember, the Philistines were sea peoples. I don't think they had established Gath. I don't know. But the point is that David is allied himself with this other king over and against Saul.
Well, while they are sea peoples, they settle on that southern coastline. And
but
Gath
is Gath necessarily a Philistine city?
I'm pretty sure that it's one of the big five. Yeah, Gath, Ashkelon, Ekron, and there's the other two. I'll check to see if it's listed with the others.
It seems really crazy that David would join the Philistine army. Okay. But then again, it does kind of make sense with what's going on here, because it says that the Philistines gathered their camps together, and then Achish says, you're going to go out with me, so maybe it is, because he's telling him, you're going to have to go out with the Philistine army.
David is behind enemy lines.
Yeah. All right, so he says, Yado teda ki iti teitzei v'machane ata va'anashecha. He says, you surely know, you surely know, that with me you will go out in the camp, you and your men, your fighting men. So by that, it maybe does make sense that he's warning.
I think
he's saying,
yeah, you must know. You have to know that this is.
Yeah, maybe he could be going out in the Philistine armies. That would be
Ashdod, Ashkelon,
that's something that I hadn't thought of before.
In Gaza.
Did you hear Carlton? Carlton just
Gaza. Gaza is a Philistine city.
Ashdod, Ashkelon, Ekron, Gath, and Gaza are the 4 that are like called the Pentapolis.
That would be 5, but yes.
Yes, but thank you. Told you I was tired. Yeah.
Muriel is indeed here, and she says hi to everybody.
Hello, Muriel. My turn?
Yes, sir.
Vayomer David Lachish, Lachen Atateda ki. Sorry, I'm just making stuff up now.
Why?
Atateda et asher yaaseh avdecha. So David said to Achish, did you say this was surely or therefore or something?
Lachen is normally therefore.
It's normally, but here
it's like probably
this says very well. That's how it has this in the NRSV says. You should know what your servant can do. Achish said to David, very well, I will set you as my bodyguard.
But you didn't read that in Hebrew.
I did not. Yes, I did not. So, Lachen, Shomer Roshi Asimcha Chol Hayamim. All of the days for life. You're my bodyguard as long as as long as you live. As long as you're living.
So bodyguard is literally a guardian for my head.
For my head.
Protector for my head. Yeah. Before we got started here, we asked each other if we might want to put the Hebrew beside an English translation. I think that we can let the live chat decide if that's something that they would prefer that we do, and we can start doing that. Like something kind of like putting up logos here. We've got the Hebrew on the one side and English on another. We can change the English translation as we need. And it's possible. I kind of like putting it together like this.
You kind of like putting it together like English to Hebrew?
I like putting it together with just the Hebrew because I feel like reading it. I read this several times before we meet, and it just allows me to go through it without distraction. But I won't do it if
the live chat is going to have to make a decision. Come on, live chat.
Yeah.
What say you?
Anyway, but in the meantime, we'll go to the next verse here.
Meantime and in between time.
Sorry about that. My bad. Yeah. Ushmuel met vayisbadu lo kol Yisrael vayikberuhu barama uve'iro v'Shaul hesir ha'avot ve'et hayidonim me ha'aretz. Okay. And Samuel died, and all of Israel mourned for him, and they buried him in Ramah and in his city.
Okay. Do we remember what his city was?
Ramah, isn't it?
I remember at the beginning of 1 Samuel, it says Haramatayim Tzofim. Do you remember that? Haramatayim Tzofim.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think that is what was, Haramatayim is what became transliterated into Greek as Arimathea.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joseph of Arimathea.
Oh, neat. I did not know that.
Yeah. Anyway, very nice. What do you make of this? V'Shaul hesir ha'avot ve'hayidonim me'aretz.
Oh yeah, I hadn't gotten there yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. And Saul turned away the witches and the diviners from the land.
Turned away less be removed.
Burned them.
Yeah.
Burned them alive. I remember that there There's a commandment in Deuteronomy, I believe, about not letting them live. The both of these, Ov and Yidoni. Right? There's a commandment about getting rid of them. Right?
Right.
Right.
I would take your word for it. I do not remember.
But this indicates that Saul was a macher of religious reform. Somebody who pushes to do religious reform. Why would Saul reform the religion of the land? Like he went about and removed the Ovot and the Yidonim, which means that people were.
Marcelo says something.
Yeah.
I read with Spanish with the Tanakh. I love the J. So the screen can be just Hebrew with English, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And Michael says he prefers just English. And Noel says either way. Okay.
Just
so
Hebrew, not just
English. I'm about to say Michael definitely said just Hebrew.
Just Hebrew. I'm sorry. To me, the English is the way it language.
Is then. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So V'Shaul Hesir Ha'avot V'et Yidonim Ha'aretz. He was involved in religious reform. There was another thing relevant to this. I think it's in this chapter, so we'll get to it eventually.
We have a cat visitor. I should have shut my door.
All right. So verse 4 says, Vayikavtsu Filishtim. We said before, Vayikbitsu. Yikbitsu is kal. This is nifal. And they were gathered.
How do you know?
Passive. Yikavtsu. It's the nun is assimilated into the kuf, and the syllables are always yikatel, yikatlu. So vayikavtsu Filishtim vayavohu, they came, vayahanu v'shunem, and they camped in Shunem, wherever that is. Do you know Shunem? Shunem?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Shunammite woman comes to mind. I don't know where it is.
Shunammite, Shunem.
I imagine. Hold on.
Maybe.
Where's the word?
Shunami. It's a Shunem. This one.
Shunem. Oh, I don't know for sure. I'll be honest with you.
Let's see if this has something here. Shunem. Place name, maybe Sunam.
Yep. Same name, place name in 2 Kings 4 when Elisha goes to the
Shunami. Okay. Great. So the Shunammite woman was from Shunem. All right. So they gathered together and they camped in Shunem. Vaikbots Shaul et Kol Yisrael. Okay, now we have Ikal, Ikbots. Vayachanu b'Gilboa. Gilboa we had before as a place name. So Saul gathered all of Israel and they made camp at the Gilboa. Okay, verse 5.
Vayar Shaul et machane Plishtim. Vayira vayecherad libo ma'od. So
we like
when
this
Saul, yes, when Saul saw the camps of the Philistines, he was afraid and he trembled in his heart greatly.
His heart trembled.
His heart trembled greatly.
So libo is the subject of Yecherad.
Mm-hmm.
Machane technically is singular. The Philistine camp.
His heart trembled greatly. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Saul saw the Philistine camp. How's that witch? He
was freaking terrified.
Yes, he was very scared. So he wasn't scared of the ghost, and he wasn't scared. He doesn't say he feared God, but he was afraid of the Philistines, and now he wanted to find out: will I win if I go to fight these people? Everybody thought that if you get into a battle, you need to go seek God to find out if God is going to support your action, support your fight. Yeah. Okay. Colton, number 6.
וישאל שאול, וישאל שאול באדוני, ולא ענהו אדוני, גם בחלומות, גם באורים, גם בנביאים. And the Lord, and Saul asked, I'll get all those right. And Saul asked the Lord,
So maybe
but the Lord,
the Lord. I think that Sha'al and Be.
yeah, right. It's just and I had a thought, but that's okay. And he did not, but the Lord would not answer him. Sorry, I'll get there in a second. Whether in wouldn't answer him in dreams or in Orim lights. I know that's not lights. I know. Or in prophets, it was Orim.
Remember,
in the Urim, or in the Urim in the Thummim.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, it took me a second. Or in
it's lots. It's lots when you throw lots.
Yeah.
So lots is used. Purim is used, I think, in the holiday of Purim. Like Purim. Purim is lots as well. Purim and Urim. And then there's also Tumim. Urim and Tumim.
Yeah. It's funny. I said ask, and this is just something that occurred. Just tell me if you all think this holds water or not. When you ask something, when you ask someone for something, for it to be asked, you have to have the for something. Inquire doesn't it would be without the indirect object. Maybe. How do we feel about that? This is just me like trying to make it make sense in English. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
what's the difference between inquire and ask? He inquired of the Lord, sure, or he asked of the Lord, but you asked the Lord of the Lord something, right?
Yeah,
well, it seems like a more general thing, right?
Yeah, they're synonyms, right? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying that when you, in English though, to inquire, you can just inquire. I inquired. Right. You can say,
but when you have another agent, you say of.
Yeah,
you inquire of someone.
Yeah,
it's normal. It's normal with lishol. You ask et. Sha'alti oto madato. I asked him what is his opinion. Sha'alti oto.
So the ba is governing the person
normally
you ask.
The lishol with bet, it means that you go to a deity to ask their wisdom, their advice.
Is it a deity or can it be any animate person?
I only know the structure of God.
Does it occur with a bet with any other thing?
Right. Well, no, and that is sincerely the question though. Like I'm just trying to figure out how does the bet operate differently? Like is there something syntactically here that we can look to see that? I'm just saying I think that's the question. I can look it up myself later. But I'm just saying.
But normally people they ask what a God's will is by using lishol ba Elohim or lidrosh ba Elohim.
Yeah, I'll go look it up in a minute.
And I never have heard that used of a king or anyone else. It's only God.
No, that's fair.
Which would mean that I would assume that other nations would have used it of their gods if they spoke to Canaan.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, but all the other things, the Halomot, the Urim, and the Nevi'im, these are ways that people would try to find out what God's will is. They would try to have dreams and interpret them. They would try to cast lots to figure out, if you cast lots, you would get an answer, what is the God's will? Or you would go to a prophet, and the prophet would be able to speak on behalf of the God. Saul had tried every acceptable religious path to find out the will of God, and God refused to answer him. God did not answer him. Lo anahu Adonai. The Lord did not answer him. All right. So, as a way to figure out God's will, he decided that he would do something else, something that he himself had forbid, that he had made impossible by getting rid of all of the mediums and spiritists. Vayomer Shaul la'avadav. He said to his servants, Bakshuli eshet ba'alat ov. Levakesh means to seek, to find, to look for it. Find me a woman who is a mistress of dead spirits. Like she's a medium. Find me a medium, a witch woman. Ve'elcha that I might go to her. Ve'edresha and I would inquire of her. So it's here because she's representing a dead spirit. She's representing something from the other world. Lidrosh ba is like lidrosh be'elohim. It's some kind of god. She's not a goddess, but she has a connection to the spirit world.
Yeah. What? Sorry, I did look it up. I was looking.
What'd you find?
In the parallel passage in First Chronicles, Vagam lishol ba'ov lidrosh.
Yeah.
And so it's even more explicit, ba'ov, to lishol ba'ov.
It has to do with something with spirit. It's not a king or something like that.
Yeah. Something otherworldly, I guess.
There are two
interesting.
There are two examples in which it is not referring to idols, or so one of them's teraphim. The rest are there's the Lord and God, and there's the Ba'ov one. The other examples that came up for me though were to seek a curse and to seek a harvest, the harvest. But those are both in poetry, so
I'm interested in the Tefachim one, because the thing that I get most out of this chapter is, I feel that it gives us some kind of insight into how people practiced religion at that time.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. It'd just be interesting to see how.
Yeah, but I want to know more about the Tefachim. I wish that we would uncover archaeological stuff that specifically talked about Tefachim and what they were, or it gave indication of what they were. Because Rachel stole the Tefachim of Lavan, her father, right?
Yeah.
So this means that Lavan was worshiping these Tefachim, these little idol deities. But I'd like to know what they represented, and I don't know. It's hard to know without good evidence, because mostly the Bible just reviles that kind of stuff, and it doesn't give us a lot of clues into what it was.
Yeah, they're talking about the one that came up for me was in Ezekiel 21:26, where they're talking about witchcraft in the Babylon. But yeah, anywho.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rabbit trail. I'll shoot the rabbit now.
Great. We got a comment from Marcelo saying kind of the same way in this time. First, people go to the church to try to find out somehow what God's will is. Then they look for lucky numbers, and they go to a shaman and to brujos. They start out, they try to what do they say? What's the word? Expend every allowable option, and then look outside of that if they still haven't come to a decision. Anyway, so that's what Saul did. Vayomeru avadav elav, and his servant said to him, Hine eshet ba'alat ov be'endor. Okay, Jonathan already answered that one, so.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry. Hine eshet ba'alat ov. There's a woman of mastering of an ov. It means a witch that communicates with spirits in Endor. Endor. I wonder if that's where George Lucas got Endor from.
I wonder. I've wondered that my whole existence. Well, since I was like 10.
Really?
That's your whole existence?
Since I was a Bible nerd when I was little.
Yeah?
All right. Yeah. I was a Bible nerd ever since I was a little kid. All right. So Vayit Chafesh. Is that where we are? Vayit Chafesh? Vayit Chafesh Shaul. Sorry. I have a scene sheen problem.
So Litrapes is to dress up.
Vayit Chapes Shaul Vayilbash Bagadim Vayilbash Bagadim Acherim Vayelechu Ushne Anashim Imo Vayavo'u el el ha'isha laila. Vayomer kasomi. Yeah, kasomi nali ba'ov v'ha'alili et asher omar alaich.
Elaich.
Yep, Elaich. Yep, sorry. So Saul disguised himself and clothed himself in strange garments, or just other garments, different garments, something like that. Vayeled who?
Vayelech.
Oh, Vayelech. I was like, what? So he went and two of his men with him, and they came to the woman at night. I guess it's missing it.
That's an accusative. It's an accusative of time. When?
And he said, Kasumi Nali. Kasumi, that's divine. Please divine for me. Ba'ov.
By the spirit.
By the dead, though this is by the spirit or the ghost or whatever. And Vaha'ali. I should have been paying attention to when you did this verse earlier, Jason.
This
and
is
go up. Yep.
Bring up.
Oh yeah. It's because it's Hiffield. Bring up for me et asher, whatever I say to you. Whoever, probably.
Probably whoever. Why would you say ha'alili? What's ha'ali? Why bring up?
He wants to bring up Samuel's ghost.
From where?
From Sheol. From the
grave. Yeah.
Yes.
The common idea was that when somebody died, they would go down because you're buried down in the ground, right? So. But most people today think that when you die, you go up. So we would say, Horidili, bring down for me.
We would, depending on your life's trajectory, either bring up or bring down.
Okay, so ha'alili mi gehinom, bring up for me from Gehenna, Saul. Yeah, that would have weird theological implications. That the prophet of God actually went to hell, and that wouldn't be a good conclusion to come to.
I was just modernizing it.
Yeah. But this idea that when people die, they went to the common grave. Everyone went to the same place, right? Again, it's an insight into the things that people believed and how they practiced back then. This chapter, the whole chapter as it is. All right, verse 9.
That would be Colton.
Yeah.
That would be Colton.
ותאמר האישה אליו, הנה אתה ידעת את אשר עשה שאול, אשר הקריד את האובות ואת הידוני מן הארץ. ולמה אתה מתנקש בנפשי לחמיתני?
Oh my goodness, very good, Colton. Goodness gracious.
Let's see.
Somebody's had some Duolingo training.
Biblingo.
That's what I meant. How dare I? How dare I? I invoke the name of the competitor.
No, it's okay.
Do you work for?
It's two entirely different. It's two entirely different job marketplaces for the language.
You work for Biblingo or Duolingo? The right one, for goodness sake.
I know it's okay. No, I'm reading out loud.
Not a competitor. They are much better than us. So.
No, not the competitor. I was talking about Biblingo and the.
Biblingo and Duolingo
are not us. We're not competitors.
Yeah. It's just that's why we have Biblingo though, is because Duolingo wasn't doing biblical languages,
Right.
But, yeah. So and it's not based on solid linguistic analyses.
Well,
of biblical languages.
Yeah, I will say Duolingo's like progression in terms of learning has gotten a lot better recently though. Like the way that they introduce stuff. It's better, not perfect by any means, but neither is ours. But so, anywho,
I completed their path of Hebrew a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did their Spanish version a long time ago.
All right, I'm doing their German right now. Vatomer Haisha Elav. Oh, I already did that. Sorry. She said, the woman said to him, "Look here, sir. You know, what Saul has done when he cut off the magicians and the mediums from the land. Why are you nakesh?
Mitnakesh benafshi.
Why are you troubling my soul?" I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
To kill me.
So you know the word mokesh is like is a trap.
Yes. Okay.
You're ensnaring my soul. Why are you ensnaring my soul to kill me?
Yeah. Well, what do you think you're doing here? My life. Yeah. Probably is more. Yeah.
Yep. Mm.
Why are you setting me up?
This says, "Why are you laying a snare for my life to bring about my death?" Says the NRSV.
Yeah.
Setting me up to kill me.
Yeah, you know that Saul has made this forbidden practice, and you're coming to me trying to get me to do this for you. You're gonna get Saul to put me to death.
It sounds like she's awfully suspicious of whoever this is already.
Absolutely. Because she's not stupid. She has spiritual insight. Verse 10, Vaishaval la Shaul ba'Adonai lemor, Chai Adonai mikarech avon b'davar hazeh. Okay, so Saul swore to her by God. He swore to her in the name of Adonai, saying, by the life of God, as God lives, you will, it says, no guilt will happen to you, will meet you. No iniquity will meet you in this thing. So meaning that, is that right? Yikrech. There's a nun missing there, isn't there? Yinaker.
Yeah.
No guilt shall be imputed to you for this thing. I think lenaker is the root there. Mostly lenaker, we have an expression in Hebrew, lenakere 9, but I thought it was a kaf. In the nifal.
So in logos, it has
it is
from kara, to meet or befall.
Okay. All right, because that's what I originally was going with.
We know it doesn't mean to meet, but to befall.
No, it does mean to meet, but the likrat specifically.
I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah.
Were you thinking it was nakar, like recognize?
I was thinking lenaker, like we say lenaker naim is like. So a good example. Maybe it's nifal.
I think is it a mistake?
Is it nifal or is it
the note says non-manuscripts, not NONN manuscripts have
non-manuscripti. Non means not none. It means a few manuscripts.
Not none.
Not no manuscripts. Yeah. Non.
The most roundabout way of saying a few.
Yeah. Lenaker. Okay, so let's say that somebody has something that you like, and they pull it out and start eating it in front of you, and you start to get jealous of them. You want it, they're eating it. This is lenakere naim. It means like you gouge somebody's eyes out by what you're doing in front of them. So I'll give you a little secret. As somebody who was a flight attendant, we had newspapers that we were allowed to hand out on the flight, but it was for business class, business and first class. You don't hand out newspapers to tourists, to economy class. And so before they came on the flight on the plane, we would cover up the newspapers with napkins, with cloth napkins, and hide them because we didn't want to lenaker inayim, to get the people to stop and say, "Oh, you have newspapers. Can I have a newspaper?" Because they didn't belong to them, like they belonged to the people in business class. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So lenaker inayim is you make somebody see something that will make them want it, and it's not a good thing. Yeah,
it's like entice.
You're enticing their eyes. It's literally to gouge out their eyes, but it means that you don't want to do something to make someone jealous and then put you in a bad position. Yeah, lenaker inayim. It's an expression.
Marcelo says ha ha ha.
About which part? About severed from the earth. What was severed from the earth? Hichrit et aravot min haaretz. Yeah, to cut them off. Cut them off from the earth. So let's see. That's the end of it. He says, I promise. But when you say Hey Adonai, you're making an oath. You're saying, I promise. And im is the negative part. So you say, like, may the Lord add to me and blah, 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 if this happens to you.
Yeah,
so he's saying it won't happen to you.
It just occurred to me I don't need to monitor chat anymore because we have it
on the screen.
We have it on the screen.
Yeah. All right. So I think that I got to the end of the verse. So John, you'd be next.
Verse 11. Would be next. Verse 11. So Vatomer Haisha et mi a'alelach. Et mi a'alelach, vayomer et Shmuel ha'alili. Et Shmuel ha'alili. Yes. So she said, the woman said, whom should I bring up for you? And he said, Samuel bring up for me. Bring up Samuel. Fronted Samuel.
Yeah, it's Shmuel because it's fronted because it's answering the question, right?
Yeah, it's right, of course.
Et mi a'alelach, et Shmuel ha'alili. Yeah, the structure feels really good, really good.
It does, doesn't it?
Jonathan, we talked a lot about word order in the last few sessions, by the way. Right, Colton?
I love enjoyed it. Yeah, we've had to because of the yiktol.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
You would have loved it. You should have been here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I should have. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know what I was doing last.
12.
Oh, I had a meeting last week. Sorry, folks. Yeah.
Family meeting.
Yep, family meeting.
Yeah.
Verse 12.
You're always in our thoughts.
Thank you.
Oh, is this my turn again? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's your turn.
Yeah. Vatere haisha et Shemuel ותזעק בקול גדול. ותאמר האישה אל שאול לאמור, למה רמיתני ואתה שאול?
I don't know if when he said Samuel that she figured it out, or if she'd known all along. Anyway, what's it say? Vatere is the feminine form of, what's the masculine?
Yere.
Vayar.
Oh.
Vayar is masculine, Vatere is feminine.
Why would it change? Makes no sense.
Right? Why isn't it Vatar?
I don't know. It's dumb. Makes me mad.
Or why isn't it Vayir and Vatir?
Just the
woman saw Samuel and she cried out with a loud voice, and she said, and the woman said to Saul, saying, why remitani? Why have you something to me from Ramah, whatever that is?
Why have you tricked me?
Why have you tricked me? You are Saul. Okay, I just want to point out the word play here with Samuel's resting place being Ramah and the root of Rimatani
very nice.
Being the same. Or, at least related. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When in Genesis chapter 3, where the woman was tempted and she was beguiled, what was the word used there? Do you remember? He beguiled her.
Oh no, I don't know.
Hishiani.
Hishiani. Hishi. It's Hishi in the Hebrew. Because it's with Aleph. Very nice, Jonathan. That is your chapter right there.
Yeah, I've done it many times.
Yeah, good. But Le Ramot is still to this day to cheat. Like you cheat at games or whatever. Lama Mitani, why did you cheat me? Why did you trick me? It's interesting that she said this after she saw the spirit of the dead man. She saw him and she cried out with a loud voice. I wonder if she had seen dead people before, if this was the first time. Because sometimes people claim to talk to the dead and they're lying. I think all the time people are lying when they talk to the dead. So she screamed because she had never seen a real dead person come up before, I think.
So
do you have something?
Let's just theoretically, what would Homegirl have to gain from waiting? Because it seems awfully clear to me that she knew exactly who it was that came to her, or at least had a very strong suspicion that it was Saul. Why would she risk it anyway? Like what does she have to gain in this?
Maybe Saul would have killed her anyway if she didn't do it.
Okay, I can get behind that. So that's a thought. Okay. I'm just like
now that Saul knows she's a real deal, it's an exposition of the plot. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, I just love how you called her Homegirl. What would Homegirl have to gain?
I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm just asking questions. I'm done.
Well, real quick before we move on to verse 13, I wanted to say that this week I posted for non-paying members on Patreon, and I think it's something I'm going to start doing, like posting links there that are just to the YouTube channels and also the things that we've got going on and directions we're planning to take as we move. Because somebody asked me today, like he can't like join us for Shio's lessons or whatever, but once he's done with his academic year, he might be able to follow along and stuff. And he's like, well, how can I get updates? And I told him to join Patreon, and I'll put public announcements on there for everybody too. So
yeah, or maybe something to put on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't really know how to use the YouTube community now. I don't feel like I get much out of that. I posted something about Israel yesterday and got into a big fight.
Well,
that was not fun.
Be careful what you post.
Not on ours. No, I was watching a video of somebody that I enjoy watching, and they were like, genocide. I'm like, oh, shut up. Like, I don't like that word being used. I know that it's a common opinion, but that don't make it right.
Yes.
Anyway, 13.
Let's avoid that topic.
Yes.
All right.
Not everything is purple and pink over here, but we're not doing genocide. But Netanyahu needs to go. I don't support him or his right-wing government. Anyway, 13. Vayomer la hamelech al tir'i ki ma ra'it. Vatomer Aisha el Shaul Elohim ra'iti olim min haaretz. Okay, so the king said to her, because now he's identified as the king because she knows who he is, Al tir'i, do not be afraid. Ki ma ra'it, but what have you seen? The key here is disjunctive, right? Don't be afraid, but what have you seen? And the woman said to Saul, I saw a god, or I saw gods coming up from the earth. I saw gods coming up from the earth. Remember, there was something about the idea of dead spirits becoming deities that they held to back then. And so if she saw Saul coming up from the ground, then she saw, in her opinion, gods. rising from the earth. Yeah. That's something that's connected with this whole idea of Yidoni and Ov. This idea that the dead have, once you've died, the veil has been crossed, and you have greater knowledge and insight and understanding of the world, and you're able to advise people who live on the earth still, who've been left behind. Cross over into a more enlightened plane, I guess. But in a lot of ways, they also had this idea that the netherworld was dark and shady. So kind of hard to know exactly what was going on in the mind of the Canaanite peoples, because we don't have a lot to go by except for the Bible, generally. Right? There's not much out there to let us know what was going on with the Canaanite beliefs. And right. Hebrews were Canaanites. All right, verse 14, Jonathan.
Vayomer la, ma ta'oro.
Try that one again.
To'oro. Oops.
To'oro. The word is to'al.
Thank you, because I had no idea. Vayomer la, ma to'oro. Vayomer ish zaket ole hahu. Otemail, period. Vayeda Shaul ki Shmuelhu. Vayikod apayim arza. Vayishtahu. So he said to her, "What is his appearance? What does he look like?" She said, "An old man is coming up. He has a robe. He's wrapped in a robe." So Saul knew it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face towards the ground and bowed. Yeah, and the
Elena told us last week that it's prostrated himself with his whole body on the ground.
Yes, that's correct. And then, he bowed down. And this one says, NRSV says he did obeisance.
Which I don't know what that means, but
don't either.
So to'oro is
basically prostrating yourself on the ground with your whole body.
That makes sense.
Remember that Joseph was described as Yefei Toar, beautiful or handsome of appearance. So Toar and
David too, I think.
Yeah. In modern Hebrew, Toar, it's also its appearance and a look, but it's also a degree. Like when you study in university, you finish, you get a Toar.
Ah.
All right. Great job. Verse 15.
Okay, Mike
goes
Myers.
Back to Colton.
Great
job.
Okay. That's a big boy. Okay, Vayomer Shmuel el Shaul, lama hirgastani leha'alot oti. Vayomer Shaul, tsar li me'od, ufilishtim nilchamim bi. Velohin sar me'alai velo anani od, גם ביד הנביאים, גם בחלומות, ואקרא לך להודיעני מה אעשה. And Samuel said to Saul, why have you shaken me to come up to bring me up?
Le'argiz we use today for making somebody angry, but it means to stir somebody, to rile them.
Yeah.
So we see this verb used in Psalm chapter 2, I believe, where it says, "Why do the nations like?" Let's look at it real quick just to be sure. Psalm 2. Lama rageshu goyim. Excuse me, but the rageshu, regesh, feeling. I thought it was here. No. Sorry, I was wrong. But it's the feeling of being shaken. Why have you shaken me? Why have you aroused me to bring me up?
This says disturbed, which makes sense. Good English.
Yeah. Okay.
In the Lamed, I think, if you think about this, the Lamed here is like by doing it. Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?
Okay, sure. Yeah. And Saul said, it's not going good for me, dog. It's not going very well for me.
This is a common way to say I'm sorry. I apologize. Sarli me'od. Sarli is like it's narrow to me. It means I'm sorry.
It's narrow to me. Okay.
Have you heard that?
No. Well, like the way like James and I have been using it is like to say like it's like distress to me.
Like, yeah, that's how it's translated here.
Which I could see how that would be like. Yeah.
Narrow anxiety. But when you say it, when you say tsarli, anxiety to me, whatever, it means that I'm sorry. I feel bad.
Yeah. That makes sense. It also, but yeah.
And we use that today too. Tsarli, we say to apologize. Tsarli me'od. Or we can say ani mitzta'er. I'm sorry. Mitzta'er. Tsarli.
Yeah. And okay. It's either like there's I have distress or my bad, dude. Sorry. No, it's like I'm facing there's a lot of distress to me.
I like distress because it explains it. Why is he so distressed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the Philistines are fighting against me. And God has turned from upon me, and he will not answer me anymore.
He hasn't answered me.
And he hasn't answered me.
He hasn't answered me anymore. Like I sought him and he answered me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even not okay. Not by the hand of prophets or in dreams. And
so gom is either or.
Like that's how I'm
neither nor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm reading it. Read it like Ode in Greek.
So we've got lo with gum and gum. Then it's not this or that. Neither this or that.
Yeah, and so I have called to you.
Great.
To make known to me what I should do.
Yeah.
Why ikra'e? Why is it not ikra'ya?
Good question. I also was thinking that should be but I don't know.
It's a long form of the imperfect.
Normally we expect to be long form with
Yeah.
But it's not cohortative. That's why. Maybe they're distinguishing.
Then why not just va'ikra and I?
Yeah.
And I have called to you.
I don't know that.
Yeah. It is funny.
It's a little bit funny.
How would you say, out of curiosity? You say eha, wouldn't you, if it was the third feminine?
Which would be it would be written the same.
Right.
It would be written the same, but yeah.
Just pointed different. Yeah.
You just have on the end.
Therefore, I have asked it from you is what I'd expect if it was going to be that.
Yeah.
I have asked it from you to bring me or to make known to me what.
Let's see if there are any other instances of it real quick.
Yeah.
Va'ek. Oh, no. Va'ek. That's the same verse. That's the only one. So I don't know, but there's a note in BHS. Let's see. It says 2 manuscripts omit the hey on the end of the word.
Look at that. They didn't like it either.
Yeah. Kind of. Great. We are out of time, my
Perfect
lovelies.
timing.
Yeah, I've enjoyed having you guys with me.
It's been good.
I've enjoyed being here.
Yes, you could enjoy being here more. Come to us. Come to us. We like you.
I like you guys too. But
very good.
All right, well, yeah, we're going to switch over to the grammar. Whoever's going to join us.
You can't see I'm waving. Bye, guys.
We see you waving.
Yep.
We miss you. Be well.
Yep. See you, folks.
All right, I'll come over and see us in grammar. We'll see you in a minute.